That was God, man. Nightmare Files. I ain't never see this channel, but three disturbing true snowstorm horror story. You about to see what they talking about. It's about to be crazy. Happen, man.
This story happened quite a few years ago. I spent some time being homeless during my lifetime, and being homeless in itself is scary. I've had my share of scary moments, but the one thing that stands out to me the most was when I took shelter in an abandoned factory during a snowstorm. It was winter and it had been snowing
What? The abandoned factory.
heavily. I knew a snowstorm was on its way, and I also knew there was an old sewing factory nearby. When I got to the factory, it was, as expected, run down, vandalized, and abandoned. And this was the only place I could shelter from the snowstorm that night. I found a way inside, and it was what you expected an old sewing factory to look like.
Yeah, I already know. You about to find something creepy in there. Some serial killer. Somebody go come out the cut. It's something.
A lot of stuff was still there desks, sewing machines, offices that were vandalized, and above was an upstairs walkway that could look over the workers' area that then led to an office where I guess the boss would be. Naturally, I looked around the factory to make sure there wasn't anyone in there.
You ain't look hard enough. There's somebody. It's go be somebody in there.
Wasn't. There was a sofa that looked comfy enough for me to lay on and sleep for the night. I spent the night reading a book while using a camping lantern for light. After a while, I started to get tired and shut my eyes. I was
Tell,
wrapped up
tell,
as
tell you heard the noise. That's just watch.
I could, listening to the harsh, cold winds coming from the snowstorm outside. Later that night, I woke up to a bang. I sat up, turned on my camp lantern, and I looked around. I couldn't see anyone around that could have made that noise. The next thing that happened was I could hear thunderous and slow footsteps coming from above me on the walkway. I was too frightened to say or do anything, mainly because there was no one on the walkway when I looked up there before. Even though there wasn't anyone there, I could still hear the footsteps.
Yeah, right.
The heavy, slow footsteps continued to the boss's office, and then the office door slammed shut. I was so afraid I sat there frozen, not knowing what to do. I wanted to get up and leave the factory, but the reality was that I couldn't. It was a snowstorm outside, and I would have frozen to death if I left the factory. I had no choice but to stay. With my camp lantern still on, I sat down and I didn't take my eyes away from the boss's office door. At some point, I passed out from exhaustion. When I woke up again, my first thought was to look up at the office door. Through the door window was a dark figure standing there, swat.
Oh nah, get up out of there. Through the office, with the office door locked or something. So I'm pretty sure he's like you say you went to sleep, probably sleep for some hours. Door must be locked or something. He could have killed you, whatever.
I watched the dark figure and I was terrified. I got up, packed my things, and I hauled ass out of that factory. Thankfully,
Hey, you could tell this a black dude with the voiceover too. I ain't never heard no black dude voiceover in these stories. You could tell. Nah.
packed my things, and I hauled ass out of that factory. Thankfully, it must have been around 5 a.m. because the storm had died down. I left the factory and I never looked back. To this day, I still have no clue what could explain what happened that night. And worst of all, why that dark figure was watching me.
That's something else. You don't know what the hell could have been anything.
A couple of years ago, my brother David and I would be driving up north to visit our parents. I remember there being heavy snow and a snowstorm in the forecast. I tried to tell my brother maybe we should wait a week for it to be less snowy and then head to our parents. But my brother was stubborn as he insisted that we would be okay to drive, even though there was a chance we could get caught in a snowstorm.
Yeah, like you should never listen to your brother. You gotta think, bro. Like, why would you even if you don't got to? Bro, it's not no emergency. You don't gotta. You don't have to drive this day. Just wait until it calm down. Try and drive through a storm, you get stuck, slide out, anything. Now it's over.
It was the day of our drive to our parents, and David was driving. He was taking it easy as it was snowing and the roads were slippery. We were about halfway when the expected snowstorm hit us quite hard. David pulled over and parked the car. I turned to him with a smug smile. He told me he didn't want to hear it. David wanted to wait until the snowstorm calmed down. So we both sat in the car scrolling through our phones, trying to...
Slow, like you should have why you even listen to him, bro? You should have just waited a couple days. Like, play this smart. You know a snowstorm coming.
The time. After 25 minutes went by, I was startled when I heard a knock on my window. I looked through the window and I saw a very messy,
Talk about we gonna be okay to drive. You don't know the future, bro.
dirty man. He was looking at me with his wide, bloodshot eyes. I let the window down a crack and I asked the man what he wanted. It was hard to make out what
I
he...
would have never what you letting the window down, bro? Leave, bro. Just go. What you letting the window down for? Trying to come on.
saying because the wind of the snowstorm and the man's mumbling. However, I did make out that he was asking for money. My brother and I didn't carry cash, so
Oh,
I told the man that we didn't have anything for him. The man didn't
now he about it. Now you about to take it. Now she about to try to open that door.
right away, though he continued mumbling about money. After telling the man politely several times that we couldn't help him, I rolled up my window and turned to look at my phone. I could see the man standing there for a few moments before walking away. I told my brother that you can only be polite and patient for so long before you have to put your foot down. He nodded in agreement. When the snowstorm started to die down, I asked David should we continue driving. He said yeah, but he was going to go outside for a piss before we headed off.
Oh man, I know what's about to happen. That dude that just left, he ain't leave. He watching y'all. Waiting for one of y'all to get out. Watch.
Shortly after David got out of the car, the back door opened and closed. Not looking up from my phone, I said, that was pretty quick.
Bro, what is wrong? Bro, pay attention. You don't look around. You just out in public, right? In your car on your phone like this. Door opening and closing. Don't know what's going, bro. Look around, bro. Get off your phone. Whole random stranger just got in your back seat. You ain't even know. Come on, bro.
I didn't think anything was off about David getting in the back seat, as we had a box there with drinks and snacks inside. A few seconds later, I looked up and I saw David walking back towards the car.
I know you hold up. Hold up. Who just opened it? Oh, there's somebody in the back seat, y'all.
At any chance to turn around, I felt a powerful arm wrap around my throat, choking me.
Oh, yeah.
I was panicking, trying my hardest to release my neck from the person's grip. Soon after, David opened the back passenger door and fought and drug off the man who was trying to kill me. The man didn't fight David for long before running off and away from the car. David asked if I was all right. Catching my breath, I asked him who it was. David said he wasn't certain, but it looked like the man who asked for money earlier.
Obviously, bro. Y'all should have. Y'all don't got no type of survival skills, bro. At all. Bro, instantly, somebody come. I would even never even roll down the window, honestly, bro. But yeah, you come up, you roll down the window, you ask if you nah, you just standing there. Dude, leave, and you still decide to stay in the same spot. Bro, just don't understand people, bro.
And it was definitely him. It had to be. I calmed down while David called the police. After making a police report, we continued our trip to our parents. I would never forget how lucky I am that David was there to save me, as I wouldn't be here to tell this story. It's crazy to think what some people will do when given the opportunity.
Hey, it's hit my elbow. But look, if David wasn't there, you should have just You know what you could have did? Put the car in drive, started driving all crazy, swerving. He would have let go with you. He would let go of you, swerving. He probably would have got scared. He's like, oh, chill, chill, chill. Yeah, all right. Start driving all crazy.
My name, my name is Hannah, and this story took place in 2009 when I was 7 years old. We had a big shed in our back garden that my dad and uncle converted into a small gaming chill-out space for me. It was my favorite place. It had a TV, a PS3, a big sofa, mini pool table that could flip into
Hold on, I ain't
another.
even heard the beginning.
7 years old. We had my, my name is Hannah, and this story took place in 2009 when I was 7 years old. We had a big shed in our back garden that my dad and uncle converted into a small gaming chill-out space for me. It was my favorite place. It had a TV, a PS3, a big sofa, mini pool table that could flip into another mini tennis table, a couple of old arcade games that my uncle gave me, and a small fridge for cold drinks in the summer. It was wintertime and it had been snowing. My mom told me that a snowstorm was due, so she said that she would make me a hot chocolate and suggested that I spend time in my gaming
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, hot chocolate do go crazy in the winter though. I ain't have hot chocolate in a minute, but yeah, not thinking I gotta make some hot chocolate go crazy.
while the storm outside. I remember I was obsessed with Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I hadn't got the new one yet, but I had hoped my parents got it for me.
I used to be on Call of Duty too. I done sold my P4 like 2 years. It just got boring for real. Sold it like 2 years ago. I used to be on main game I used to play was 2K. Stopped buying like last 2K I bought was what was the last 2K I had? Was it 2020? 2K20? I think that was the last. After that, bro, I'm like, I'm done. Like, every year they got me with the trailer. I bought the 2K. It was trash. I ain't like it. After that, it was over. Sold the P4. Like, you really used to be on 2K for real. That was the main one. I used to play Injustice a little bit. Call of Duty 2. That was probably like the second main game I played. Call of Duty. Used to be on that. That was really it for real.
After a few hours of playing, I heard a knock at the shed door. I opened it and a man was standing there. A man I didn't know.
Why would you just open the door? You ain't ask who it was, and then you don't got a peephole. If you don't, you ain't ask who it was. Like, you just open the door. Careless.
He looked like he was freezing, standing out in that snowstorm.
He about to, can I come in? You about to say yeah, right? I could tell by how you talking. Oh, it looked like he was freezing, standing. You feel bad for him. You about to let him in, a random stranger in your house. Why?
He knelt down and he said, "Hello, little girl. I'm freezing. Can I come in?"
Oh,
And I said,
she a little. Oh yeah, she don't know she a kid. Like, that's crazy.
"Of course," and I let the man in.
Wow,
The
how old is
girl,
she?
freezing, standing out in that snowstorm. He knelt down and he said, "Hello, little girl. I'm freezing. Can I come in?" And I said, "Of course," and I let the man in.
Wow.
I remember thinking that I wouldn't want to be out there in a cold snowstorm like that. At the time, I was just 7 and I didn't.
Yeah, she don't know better. She just 7. Like, damn, that's crazy. Everything about to go wrong. What's about to happen? Who's she in the house with again?
See any danger. He told me his name was Eric and he seemed very friendly and asked questions about me and what I liked. I told him I wanted video games and he asked me about gaming and my setup and what games I liked. I told him my favorite game was Call of Duty. Eric told me that he had the new Call of Duty in his car and he asked me if I wanted to play it. Naturally, I said yes. I told Eric that I didn't have a coat for the snowstorm and I would ask my mom for a coat. He stopped me and he said that I could wear his coat. I asked,
Bro, you weird. Like, who? Dude, weird. Like, get up out of here, bro. You talking to a 7-year-old talking about you want to, like, come on, try and trick a whole 7-year-old little girl. You one of them, huh? One of them.
He wouldn't be cold, and he said he'll be okay with a smile on his face. Eric then wrapped his coat around me and held my hand, leading me out of the shed and toward his car. I remember the coat smelled like shit and filthy body odor. When we got to his old brown car, he opened the door, looked around, and told me that he left the game at his house. He said to come with him.
You weird, bro. You one of them. You one of them.
He wouldn't be long as his house wasn't very far.
No,
I
kidnapped you.
wasn't sure about getting in his car, but Eric convinced me, and I didn't want to be in the cold for another second. I remember after getting in Eric's car, he started to change. He became very nervous and agitated, even more so that his car wouldn't start. The more the car wouldn't start, the more agitated he became. He started to get angry, and this is when I began to get scared and I wanted to go back inside. The next thing that happened was Eric pushed me out of the car before finally getting his car to start, and then he sped off. My uncle came running over to me and picked me up, bringing me back into the house. It's hard to remember what happened next. All I remember is my uncle and parents talking in a panic, almost as if they were arguing. As I got older, I remembered this story. I tried talking to my parents about this, but they never wanted to. I spoke to my uncle and he told me what he saw that day. He told me he saw me in a car with a stranger, and it was a strange man who looked like he was eager to get away. And my uncle knew something was wrong. That was when he started running toward the car. My uncle also thought that Eric, if that was his real name, saw my uncle and he panicked. And that's why he pushed me out of the car before getting away. This story.
That's exactly what happened. But like, who was in the house with her? I missed that part. But like, was it the uncle? Why you got a 7-year old girl answering the door? That could have went wrong. Like if his car was working, bro, it would have been over. If it, cause they said he got in and tried to start it, wouldn't even start. Uncle started running over, like it would have been over, bro.
Have had a much darker
All
ending
cause you ain't paying
had my
attention.
uncle not seen me and been there to save me from what was clear Eric was a predator.
I said for the vet though, man. They just about let it play out. The little air noise.